My name is Rufai, Oseni. I work on the radio. I'm quite a very popular radio figure in Nigeria. I'm a host of a show on Inspiration FM called Share Life Issues that's got about 6 million listeners every day in Lagos between 7 p.m. to 8 o'clock when people are stuck in the Lagos traffic. Apart from that, I'm an investor. I invest a lot in things I'm passionate about, one technology. I'm part of the team of loyalbonus.com. It's an online loyalty and e-commerce site. Coupled with that, I've been doing a lot for girl child development in Nigeria. Recently, I gave about 1 million naira of my own money. That's a couple of thousands of pounds sterling to increase in teaching of technology among young girls. So through the Technovation platform by the UN, and they created lots and lots of apps, and I helped with publishing, and I made some vital investment. Currently, I will soon be a member of the United Nations Global Shapers Forum. I'm pushing for that, and I am passionate about projects, developmental projects. I've done projects across the country. I've traveled quite a bit across the country. One that is very dear to me now is the water project. There's a proliferation of communicable disease because there's no potable water. So it's called Project 774. I want to build a borehole in 774 local governments across Nigeria. So it's the things I'm really passionate about. Hopefully to partner with the UN on that. So, that's just me. And I'm an avid believer in the development of Africa. I believe Africa is going to go through a re-emergence because before the colonial masters came, we had empires and we had a lot of wealth. The likes of Mansa Musa, the Dahomey Empire, the Old Oyo Empire. We had a lot of wealth. We're doing quite well. Even before they brought education to us, as of 1450, we had the likes of Sankore University in Mali. Those were hubs for education. Timbuktu in Mali was a hub for education, before Western education came. Even before Cambridge was set up, before Oxford was set up, or Harvard. We had a university in Africa already. So it is a re-emergence that Africa needs to go through, finding that thing and finding that great wealth we have deep inside of us that's positive in us. So those are the things I'm passionate about.
If not fight, make a fight for the love. If not curse, make a curse for the love.
Africa is considered as a continent behind in technology, but we're moving so fast. Look at how we've developed a very big and viable mobile phone market, owing to the fact that mobile phone, for instance, just came to Nigeria in 2002, 2003. And now we have well over 100 million devices. We have 97 million active online internet users and subscribers. And we have a burgeoning market that keeps growing. And the market share across board is really mammoth. So it shows that we can do a lot in a short period of time. We're behind infrastructure. There's a dearth of infrastructure. But people are taking the bull by the horn. And that's the African story. A very good friend of mine runs a company called Main One, Funke Okweke. She did pass underground cables, high fiber cables from Europe to Africa to make it possible for us to have 3G and 4G network. It's not pervasive yet, but we're writing our own narrative. A lot of people talk about data. Opera Mini has discovered this, and Opera Mini is giving us an internet platform to browse with that uses minimal data. And that's what Opera Mini is about, the number one browser in the whole of Africa. That's the African narrative. It's a narrative of a country on a continent, a continent that has its challenges. But it's surmounting its challenges one step at a time. And it's been innovative when it does this. It's been unconventional. We're not saying we have all the infrastructure up to compete with the West. But what we're saying is we can do it in an all-Africa way, and we can grow from there. So it's exciting, and that's why I'm passionate about tech. The tech industry in Nigeria is just newly emerging. But I think it was KPMG that brought out a report that says the tech industry can provide 3 million jobs, and it's an industry worth over $80 billion if it's properly harnessed. And we've not even scratched the surface yet. So I am bullish because I see potentials. I am bullish because the next big thing's coming out of Africa, and we have lots of stories to tell. My very good friend Biola Olaniran runs GameSol. GameSol is one of Africa's leading game-making companies. Was featured by CNN, Forbes, and the likes. And this man from his room in Victoria Island makes games that people in South America, Sao Paulo, downloads. He's one of the biggest Microsoft Windows developer out of Africa. So those stories are really out there. And those are stories we should celebrate. And that's what I'm bullish about Africa. I love it. It's not perfect, yes, but it's like a diamond in the dirt.
love where I love you now. This kind of love where I love you now.
A lot. I mean, they need to come back home. They need to be able to bring that wealth of experience to bear. They need to be able to bring that energy to bear. They need to be able to come and do something. Pretty much reminds me of the 40s when Winston Churchill was addressing the British people about the Second World War. You know, there had been the Blitz, the German Luftwaffe had been bombing everywhere in England. And he said, you know, if the British Commonwealth lives 1,000 years, it will say this is our finest hour. And this is our finest hour for Africa. This is the time to do it. We know we've made our mistakes in the 60s with colonialism, and the first set of leaders we had still had a colonial mindset. They were still subject, you know, the likes of Kubasa and some other presidents, and you know, and things like that, and we lost it, and the likes of the Mobutu Sesekos of this world and things like that. But this is the time to come back and start all over again. And the exciting thing is you can grow from middle out. You've had success stories. It doesn't really need to be the norm where you come, you grab power and you leave. No, you can grow from middle out. I know there are challenges. I know Mugabe is still there in Zimbabwe all these years, but you can grow from middle out, because out of the ashes, we started building a viable tech sector in Kenya. You know, out of the ashes, M-Pesa came about. So you can grow from middle out, and this is the time they need to come back and put in all their resource, because it's exciting, because the dynamics will change very soon. You know what that means? By 2050, you're going to have 500 million people in Africa, 500 million people that are less than 30 years of age. That's an exciting population, a young population. 500 million people less than 30 years of age will be living on the African continent by 2030. You know what they can do with all their energy and their resources and skills? It's amazing. So this is the time for them to come back. Means a lot. Means impact, means togetherness, means Harambe. We need to come together. And impact is most solid when you come together. When you constantly assault the problems of Africa with positive thinking. You know, nothing can stand the assault of positive thinking. You're making an affront of the problem. You're not shying away from it. You're saying, this is it, we will face it, and we will win. So that's what the conference is about. And it cuts across all: media, culture, business, technology, agriculture. It cuts across all. I mean, my friend came with me to this conference. He's speaking at the agricultural panel. Rotimi Williams. Rotimi Williams has the second largest rice farm in Nigeria, 45,000 hectares. Young man, was in England for quite some time, but spotted the opportunity. He was writing for the Financial Times, and he spotted the fact that they had a burgeoning agricultural sector in Nigeria, and he went back to Nigeria to invest. He didn't have anything, didn't know where to start from, but he went to the thick of African agricultural sector in Nigeria, that's the north. He went to Nasarawa State. He was looking for opportunity, didn't know anybody. But he heard that a rice farmer wanted $100 million. And he said, you know what, I can come back to England and talk to some bankers. And just by coming back to England and talking to some bankers, the bankers were ready to give the money. The deal didn't fall through because the Central Bank of Nigeria couldn't guarantee the loan. But as a result of his effort, he was given 45,000 hectares of land. And that's the African story. That's why we need to come back. That's why we need to make that impact. That's why we need to come back. So that's why this conference is very apt. And that's why I say, you know, Rotimi, nobody tells the African story than me. And I said, you know, come along with me. Come tell the story. You'll hear it in the panel session. And that's the impact we should see. That's the Harambe. I mean, that's what our founding fathers wanted when they said Organization of African Unity and things like that. But we lost it. But hey, if you've lost something, you can still find it. It's not the end of the world. A lot of very funny anecdotes. I'll tell you one. And that relates to England. So, normally if you take a bus in England and you're going to a destination, it's like a signed contract. So you must be taken to that destination, come what may. So, I went back to Africa. The case was different. And I had lived in Africa so much, I had taken buses. And you'll be told you'll be taken to a destination, but once all the passengers get down, you'll be pulled out of the bus. And you say, get down, and they can just give you some amount of money, like 50 naira to find your way. So I came back to England, and I was going on this journey. I was going from Bristol to Plymouth. And when we got to Taunton, about 2 hours more to Plymouth, all the passengers had come down from the bus. So the African in me kicked in. And I had to ask the drivers, are you guys really going to take only me in this big bus to Plymouth? And they said yes. And I couldn't believe, the African in me couldn't believe that only me was taken in a 50-seater bus on a 2-hour journey. So I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And that's what the African in me has done to me. But it's fine.
I wanna be your customer. For your love, I be your hustler. Love, I love you now.